Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Life Transformations Podcast. I'm your host, Leo, and today I'm joined by Phil Rogers, aka I'm Phil Rogers, on Instagram, who has made his own huge transformation in his life, going from a food addict to a health fanatic, in his own words. So it's really real pleasure to have you on, Phil. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I have prepared a few questions for you. And towards the end, I will also open up, of course, if there is anything that you want to ask me too about my journey and everything. So, but I guess to start with, I know that you're yourself like you're helping others now and you're inspiring a lot and you make a lot of great content as I see. But if we start from your own journey, so what weight did you start at and where are you at now and like how has your weight been like throughout your life, like were you big as a kid or how has it worked out for you basically? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was always big, even from a young age. I always had a weight problem from even you know, probably 5 years old and on. And unfortunately, my whole family is that way as well. So I do believe that there's a genetic component to obesity for sure. I know it's environment as well, but I ate very similar to other kids that I was around, but I was the only one that was morbidly obese at a young age. So there is a something in the DNA, I think, that can make you prone to being obese. So yeah, from a young age, I was big, and then but once I got into my teenage years, I was already over 300 pounds, and my teenage years was the first time I lost weight. Where I
Mhm.
went on a crash diet, like probably a lot of people do where I was basically eating chicken and rice and animal crackers and less than 1,000 calories a day.
Oh
I ended up
wow.
losing a bunch of weight and got down to 170 pounds, which and I was like, what they call skinny fat, I guess. And as a result of doing it like that, I started losing my hair. My energy was terrible. All kinds of bad stuff happened. Well, it didn't last long. Within, geez, probably 6 months tops, I'd already gained all the way back.
Mm. Wow, yeah.
So then my next attempt to lose weight, I did it a little bit differently, and I got into CrossFit and other things, and I was actually tracking my calories, and I was following what they call I think they called it zone paleo. So it was like the zone diet combined with the paleo eating style, and I got pretty healthy, put on a good amount of muscle at that time, doing zone paleo with CrossFit. And I was fit for a while, for like probably 3 years. And then I realized, I didn't quite realize right away, but I realized down the road that there's a connection between toxic people in my life and me gaining weight. So unfortunately, the toxic person in my life when I was younger was my father, which we have a better relationship now, but it was tumultuous, when I lived at home. And so I moved out, and when I moved out, without the stress from him, I was able to concentrate on getting healthy. Then I got married, and this is the second time that I put a lot of weight back on. And unfortunately, my mother-in-law and I just didn't get along very well. It was stressing me out, and almost immediately I turned back to food again. And this time, instead of getting 100 pounds back, I gained 200 pounds,
Yeah,
over the
wow,
course
yeah.
of 15 years being married, well, yeah, actually, I would say 13 years because I was married for about 12 or 13 years when I got healthy for the third and hopefully final time.
Right.
I'm sure you know, I'm sure you probably dealt with that as well at some point. I don't know if you gained and lost weight on your journey, but I think each time you do it, at least for me, I learn a little bit each time, a little bit more, and then I realized the patterns that I fell into, and also I realized I never realized this before, but I realized that obesity, chronic obesity, is a disease, and it's an ugly one too. And there's no way that you can go back to doing what you used to do and expect any kind of different results. Like, so I will never go back to what I used to do. As a matter of fact, when I catch myself backsliding, because I am human, I backslide too, like anybody else. But before, when I would backslide, I could be off the rails for a whole entire year
Mm.
from one backslide. But now the way that I look at it is, okay, I screwed up. Let me just get back on the very next meal,
Yeah.
instead of being like, ah, let me start again on Monday. That is like the worst possible thing that I could do because a few bad days put together will send me on a massive downward spiral. So
Yeah, 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 no, agreed, agreed. Yeah.
So I really try my best to reel it back in the same day. And then I've got another, I don't even call it a fail safe or what you would want to call it, but I've got something else that if I really get off the rails for more than a day, I go right back to the basics and I print out these calendars. Um, and basically what I do is whenever I have a good day, I mark an X on there.
Mhm.
If I have a bad day, I just put like a line. And my whole goal is to mentally try to put together a bunch of X's like a chain. And I'm
Yeah.
and in my mind I'm like, don't break the chain. So these are just things that I do now that I didn't do years ago. So when I catch myself getting off the rails, I can reel it back in and be like, all right, man, you're messing up, but we're gonna fix this.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I can relate to a lot of stuff you're saying. So if we, so first of all, you have defined yourself like as a food addict, and I have too. So
Oh yeah.
I've also like that's how I label myself, I guess. And so I think it's an important point for people to understand that usually it's just like alcohol or drugs. It's a way to escape from our problems, right? And for
Mhm.
me, it's like feeling full was the only thing that gave me some pleasure in that moment, right? So
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's the thing you chase, right? So and also yeah, regarding previous attempts, I made a decent attempt at weight loss. Yeah, what is it now? Maybe 13 years ago, something like that. And I had lost about 30 kilos, let's say 65 pounds, something like that.
Mhm.
And but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. So I
Yeah.
was trying to do it because I didn't feel accepted, I guess,
Mhm.
from people close to me, even just family members and stuff. And so I kind of tried to, yeah, make myself into what I think others wanted from me and not what I wanted for myself. Uh, so and that's why it didn't last, right? So
Yeah.
because once you don't get that kind of strong confirmation, oh yeah, you're doing everything right now, it's like because you don't get it anyways. Look, if people don't really completely like you and accept you, they're not gonna like you and accept you when you change either.
Yeah, although it is interesting, I
Yeah.
think one of the more sad things that I've realized over the past 4 years is that there you do get accepted more as a smaller
Yes.
person. Like
Yes. Yeah.
people treat you differently. The people that treated me poorly before treat me a whole lot differently now than they used to. And it's like I'm still the same person. Like I'm literally the exact same person, and I still see myself as a 400-pound guy. So when I realize it, like, man, you treat me different just because I look different now. That is weird, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
can
know?
relate to that. I can relate to that. It's yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. There is a lot of stuff behind it. I'm sure there is a biological component that people just what they see affects how they think and is maybe not even conscious. I think there is a part of that. And then there is
Mhm.
also a part of probably, if I speak for myself at least, I know that besides the physical appearance, I also present in a different way now than I did before, right? So
Mhm.
I am more upbeat, I guess. I am more doing better in many parts of my life, and that also makes people like treat you differently, right? So,
Oh yeah.
but there is definitely the visual component, no doubt about that. I mean, it's yeah, it's a part of
Yeah.
it.
I forgot what Deion Sanders said, but he said something about looking good and feeling good. And when you look good, then you feel good. And when you feel good, you play good. And when you play good, you get paid good. So there is something. I just heard that one the other day, and I thought it was good. I know he's an egomaniac, but I thought it was good, and it makes sense to me because, like you said, when you feel better, you do come off more confident than when you're super obese and you just don't feel worthy of any positive attention. It does, yeah. I mean, I was always smiling and stuff back then, but people could probably see right through it, you know, for
Same,
sure.
same. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, yeah. I would like to actually talk more about food addiction because I think that this is an important topic of the whole thing, right? So, you've mentioned basically some, I guess, toxic relationship with family members were the main thing that drove you, I guess, to food. Is there something else that made you particularly, um, yeah, uh, that triggered your addiction, I guess. That yeah.
So, I don't know why I ever turned to food in the first place. The only thing that I can think is that tension was always somewhat high in my house when I was younger. And the one thing that we had full access to was all the food in the house.
Mhm.
But they didn't monitor our intake. They didn't know about healthy habits or healthy things. They didn't know that foods, like highly processed foods, get digested very quickly in your body. And as a result, they make you even hungrier, a lot faster compared to like whole foods that, from what I understand, uh, what do they say? It takes like some crazy percentage more that it takes for the body to process it. Like I want to say
Mhm.
it's like 48% more energy to process it. Which is why if you eat whole foods, you feel more satiated for longer.
Yeah.
But when I'm eating toaster strudels, Pop Tarts, gummy bears, and all this other junk, I'm just constantly eating, and then I think so. I think my addiction started back then because I would realize that, oh, I just got yelled at again, or I just got something again. Let me go eat some food, and I would just go like hide in my room and eat food. So that tended to be the habit loop that I found myself in when I got older as well. Oh, I had a hard day. Food. Oh, this made me sad. Food. Oh, this made me happy. Food. You know,
Yes.
it never really ends, and that
Yeah.
and that feeling that you get from the food, it just takes more and more and more to keep getting the feeling.
Yeah.
So before you know it, you're eating enough for three people, and you still feel like you could eat more. Like I feel like I don't like when people get that cue, like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm not hungry anymore. I feel like a lot of us are missing that cue to of when to like, okay, man, you've had enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And I'm like, what do you mean you've had enough?
yeah, the combination of the emotional relationship to food together with the physical drive towards food and the high hunger, that's the atomic combination that brings us to those kind of situations, right? So, because I mean, I know for a fact that I have a physically higher food drive than most people.
Oh,
It's
oh yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
That you couldn't tell me otherwise that people that are obese and struggle with obesity, that they don't have both a higher food drive and a slower metabolism. And it's a lethal combination. I know my metabolism is slow. I track all my calories. I know that sucker is slow. Even though I put on a lot of muscle, it's still slow. and it's okay though, because at least I know, and we're not just guessing at this point. Like we know that unfortunately we can't just eat whatever we want
Yeah.
without any consequences.
Yeah, and there is something liberating about actually just understanding some basics about calories in and calories out, and that there is no magic behind it in a way.
Yeah,
So I think it's actually a powerful thing once you get to that realization, because it's not actually, even though it's supposed to be kind of wide knowledge and common sense, there is so much other misinformation out there that you like have to do diet this exact way or that exact way and these kind of foods and not those kind of foods and there is a lot of stuff out there about what's making you fat is this thing and it's that thing and it's yeah, but
yeah,
once you understand kind of the basics of the science, it's actually quite liberating because then you feel more in control, right? Okay, but yeah, I can make choices that bring me towards what I want to do, right? So yeah.
yeah. So, and all the things in my mind should make me upset about this do exactly what you said. They liberate me and make me feel better about it because I know. Like there's a stat that I just read, like maybe a few weeks ago, and it said that people that are morbidly obese have a less than 1% chance of maintaining a normal weight for their lifetime.
Mm.
Less than 1%.
We're
So
gonna
what's
be
that
there.
saying?
We're gonna be in that.
Yeah, I said I'm gonna be in the negative in the sub 1%.
Yeah, me too.
Because now I know I will be in the sub 1%. Like that is burned in my mind that I am not going to be in the 99 plus percent. I'm going to be in the sub 1%. Like so because I know before I did not know. Before I was just like everybody else where I would diet and then once the diet's over, I'm
Mm.
going right back to doing what I was doing. Well, no surprise you put your weight back on. I mean, I could kick myself for how stupid that is, because it's like, how did you not realize what you were doing
But
when
but
you
but
were
but
doing it?
but but again, I think you should be more kind to yourself in a way because I've tried to think about this stuff myself too. But there is a lot of propaganda about dieting hard and all of that, and that's the be all and end all, right? There is not that much propaganda about just creating healthy habits that you can keep all your life because
Yeah,
it's not as sexy.
right. And
Right?
and the word diet, people don't like the word diet, but so the way that I view my diet now is it is just my diet. It's just how I eat.
Mm.
So whether I'm eating to cut weight or I'm eating to maintain weight or I'm eating to try to maybe do like a lean bulk or something, my foods are the exact same.
Same
The
here.
only thing that
Yeah.
changes is my calories. That's it. And again, I can work with that because I actually enjoy everything I eat. Like I like my meals. They're filling, they're freaking huge. You can if you do the whole high volume eating thing, you can actually eat a lot of food
Yeah.
for a pretty minimal amount of calories. I made a salad somewhat recently and I weighed it. It
Mhm.
was 2.5 pounds.
Okay.
It had less than 600 calories though.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
so I mean,
That weight to calorie ratio is amazing.
yeah, so yeah, I can do that. Now I can't do it all the time though because the leaner that I've gotten, I don't know if my body what it's doing, but if I eat too many meals like that, oh man, it really slows my digestion so much that like I'll be a bloated mess,
Mm.
But when I first started doing this, I ate almost every meal that way, and it totally saved my butt, because I was always hungry. But slowly over the years, my mind is caught up and it's working with me. So everything is not a fight all the time anymore. When I first started, it was a fight.
Yeah.
It was a battle, an internal battle that I was always fighting. And the beautiful thing about the brain is that it can work against you. It can also work with you.
Yeah.
But you got to keep feeding it the right things for it to work with you. Unfortunately, you can't be half in and half out if you have a food addiction or a binge eating disorder type of thing. You have to be kind of all in and give your brain a chance to recognize what you're doing and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. We don't do this stuff anymore. This is what we do now.
Yeah, you
And
need to
that's
be on
not
your
something that,
you need to be on your toes basically for all the kind of curveballs and yeah, triggers and
yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing too is I've learned that if I do go off the rails, then it takes me about 3 days before the cravings settle down.
Mm.
I'll track the days like, okay, how do I feel today? I still feel really hungry. Okay. Next day, I still feel really hungry, but maybe not as hungry. And by day three, my brain is like, okay, we're back. We're back online. So for me, it's about three days before the hardcore cravings go away. And then it's just what I just call them regular cravings. You know, I don't know how
Yeah,
that's for you. If you've ever, I don't know if you still have your bad moments or anything,
yeah,
but
sure, of course, yeah, and it's I've never actually, I guess, counted the amount of time it takes for me for cravings to slow down exactly like you've been doing, but yeah, f- for me, I think the general picture of what you're describing is I'm having to fight less and less, right, with
Mhm.
hunger compared to before. I'm not fully there where I'm just kind of relaxed about it.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I'll ever get fully there, but I'm definitely not as much in fight or flight mode like I've been for a couple of years, right? So
yeah,
yeah, um, yeah. But yeah, if I do have some cheat meals, then it does take me some time to to get back as well. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. My last one was on Valentine's Day. Around that time, it was not on Valentine's Day, but it was my son's birthday is 3 days after Valentine's Day, and my wife made cheesecake, and I just cannot resist cheesecake.
Hmm.
Like it's so good, and the thought of it just sitting in the fridge, even downstairs, a whole floor away, still, I
Yeah.
could not get it out of my mind. And so as a result, I messed up 3 days in a row, which then I did that. I basically did the hard reset that I was telling you about. So
Hmm.
all right, time to print out these calendars and get this ship facing back in the right direction again, because you already know, like, and I tell this to people all the time. Chronic obesity is always waiting and lurking in the background for you to take your foot off the pedal
Yeah, yeah.
so it gets back over. So that's just one thing that if you are obese, you got to realize that you just gotta, like, you don't need to be a maniac all the time, but you got to realize that there's a something inside that wants you to essentially wants you to be fat. I really believe that too. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
our brains are just primed and our bodies are primed to want to hold on to fat and store fat. So you really have to
I think there
look
is
to it.
something I think there is something similar to the about muscle memory, right? So people
Oh
say
yeah.
like if you
Okay, fat
lose if you
memory.
yes exactly so so if you lose muscle then you will be able to gain it back much quicker, and I think it's the same thing with fat, right? So they're probably yeah, whenever you lose fat it's still like there are those cells there still waiting, just come on.
Yeah, I actually,
Will-
now that you
yeah,
mentioned it, I think I did
yeah,
read that
yeah,
some people with fat cells, like they shrink, but they never go away.
yeah.
Now I don't know if somebody got surgery and like cut that stuff off, if it would change that, but something I'll have to Google that later on.
It's just
Um,
a working theory here. It's
yeah, but yeah, it makes total sense. If you can have muscle memory, why wouldn't you be able to have fat memory?
yeah, that's how I feel
That
anyways.
the muscle memory, the muscle memory is legit because when I got back into this would be back in 2022. The one thing that did come back pretty quickly was the muscle that I had built over 15 years ago.
Okay.
Like I started out and I was weak, and then within probably a month or two, my lifts were already back up to not where they were, but close.
Hmm.
Like I was like, okay, this is good. And of course, I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's because you're so fat, like that's why you're strong. That's what I was thinking, but when you read about muscle memory, for however that works, I don't know how it works, but it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, okay. So I actually wanted to ask you more about your routines and practical
Okay.
advice because I think people uh, can be interested in hearing this and like. So you mentioned that you have often big volume meals,
Yes.
right? So and like how do your um, in general health routines, I guess, look like? Like, do you track your steps? How much do you lift? You look like you're jacked, definitely. So
Oh,
I'm
thank
sure
you.
you lift quite a bit. And so how do your meals look like? Like most of the time, like what do you normally eat? And yeah, stuff like that. I think it'd be interesting for people to hear.
Okay. So I eat 4 meals a day,
Mhm.
and the volume is not quite as high as it used to be because I mentioned the digestion stuff. If I eat too many meals that are like too bulky, I end up just feeling like sluggish. But I always have at least one meal that is huge, like a big high volume meal. Usually for me, that's at lunchtime, around
Mhm.
lunchtime because that's when I tend to be the most hungry.
Mhm.
And then by dinner, I still have vegetables and all that stuff, but it just might not be unless I'm ravenously hungry, it's going to be a more sensible size meal as far as volume goes. Um, I eat between 1,900 and 2,200 calories a day.
Okay, that's quite low.
Sometimes I eat more, sometimes I eat less,
Yeah.
but pretty consistently, like if 2,200 is about my maintenance like
Wow.
level. I
Yeah.
can't eat much more than that
Mhm.
without putting fat on. And when I cut, I've got to be under 2,000 calories, and it's a slow cut, but again, I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
Um, I try to get about 25% of that from fat. So just for basic hormone, like to keep hormones optimized, and it ends up being about 50 to 60 grams of fat, I think, in most days. And I'll shoot for about 45% in protein.
Mm.
So a good portion of my food is protein. Close to half of my calories are in protein. 25% of fat, and then whatever's left over is carbs.
Yes.
I usually log my meals the night before
Mhm.
because I just find that my success for the next day is better if I plan it the day before.
Mm.
So I track my meals in my app the night before, and then I commit to only eating what I planned on. That for me, when I've made that commitment, like this is what I'm eating, it makes it easier for me to be like, yeah, I know you want that, but you didn't plan for it, so you ain't eating it. You know,
Yeah.
it's just something that I do that works for me. And I would say that I usually have two hot meals and then two more like snacky type meals.
Mhm.
Like I love Greek yogurt with frozen mangoes. So I'll do that like as I don't want to call it a breakfast. I try to fast until at least 11 o'clock
Mhm.
because the second that I start eating, I'm hungry. You know,
Yeah.
but if I can push it off to 11 or even 12, 1 o'clock, I will. So I like to do Greek yogurt, like 200 to up to 300 grams of Greek yogurt, non-fat Greek yogurt, with like 125 grams of frozen mango, and usually I'll put like one scoop of protein in there, and I might do that thing twice, something like that twice.
Mhm.
Now it could be that, or I also make these. My wife and I make the high protein mug cakes,
Mhm.
which are amazing. Or I also do a it's like a high protein pudding with cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, Coke. Is it cacao powder, cocoa
Mhm.
powder?
Cocoa powder.
What
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever the healthier one is,
Yeah.
and with some protein, and that's delicious. So usually I'll do two snacky type things and two more that are like a meal.
Mm.
Like a big salad with lean meat in it, and then usually something with broccoli and zucchini and lean meat for my next meal. Both of them. keep me full like for hours, and I like that because I don't start getting hungry until I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? Like it,
Yeah.
the hunger cues are normal when I eat that way.
Mm.
But there's certain foods that I eat. I'm like, I'm not eating that again because I was hungry in 1 hour, and so that's you catch on to that stuff. For some reason, Greek yogurt can last me for hours. It just like those snacky type Greek yogurt snacks or meals, they hold me over pretty well. And for the gym, I go at least 4 days a week. I'm supposed to just go 4 days a week, but I'm somewhat addicted, so I will sometimes sneak in an extra day or two working out.
Hmm.
And I'm big on what they call progressive overload, which
Yes.
essentially means that you're trying to beat your numbers from the previous workout. So I use a an app. It's a free one called Strive. It's it's pretty good. It tells you what you did, the previous workout. That way you're not trying to guess like, oh, did I do 225 last week for 6 reps? Oh no, you did it for four. Okay, let's try to get five this one. So I'm just trying to get like one rep more.
Or
And for
or
me,
or,
that
or
makes
2.5 pounds more, or whatever it is.
yeah, or 5 pounds more, or
Hmm.
whatever. Or I'm trying to get more reps or more weight.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
either
Yes.
either one,
Yeah.
depending on how I'm feeling. But that keeps me like I don't know if you call it gamifying it or whatever, but it keeps it fun for me. Like, okay, I'm gonna try to beat this, and it doesn't always happen.
Hmm.
For example, I just told someone today that on incline bench, I was stuck at a 225 for like 8 to 9 reps for months.
Which
Like,
is an amazing incline bench. Yeah.
oh, thank you. Yeah. But I was
Yeah.
stuck there for many months. And this morning I got 10. I was like, yes, finally,
Cool.
you
Cool.
know? So it's not like you always progress in everything. Sometimes you do hit a long stall just like you do with weight loss.
Yeah.
But at this point in I'm gonna call it my journey, the stalls and those kind of things are kind of fun for me now. Like trying to figure out a way to break through them. Like if I hit a plateau, I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, all right, what do I need to dig into and figure out to see why I'm stalled, this time? Oh, is it your sleep? Hey, your sleep kind of sucks. It could be your sleep. Is it the diet? So it's fun to kind of dig in and figure out what's going on if you try to make it, fun anyway, which that does help me trying to make it interesting and fun. I don't know how you do it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we've all
No,
got
I
our
mean,
ways.
sorry.
So we've all got our ways of how we do things.
Yes, no, we do, yeah. But I mean, you are spot on about the progressive overload. I mean, that's how you get the best results. And exactly like you're saying, it's not like that every time you're going to be able to increase, but it's just that trying to increase every time.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
fun.
way
Yeah.
you do it, right? So that's the right mindset. And yeah, regarding meals, that's very interesting. Basically, I do something similar to you, but weekly instead, because what I do is that I only buy groceries from week to week and exactly what I'm gonna do for the whole
Ah,
week.
okay.
So I
That's a good
basically
idea.
don't have anything else at home. More
Yeah.
or less, besides condiments and stuff like yeah. So that's what has worked for me, and that's what I've been doing basically during my whole journey in a way. So I
Yeah.
just yeah, once a week I buy the groceries and I already know what meals I'm gonna have for the whole week, and then yeah, that's it.
Do you repeat the meals a lot?
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah, that's a cheat code. Whenever somebody tells me they want variety,
yeah,
I say just trust me. Find what you like, eat the same things often, and when you get bored, switch it up. But don't go trying to do these crazy meals because it's too much. You're overcomplicating it.
yeah.
And maybe when you get to your goal weight, if you want to start doing that, that's one thing. But when you're trying to lose the weight and get to a healthy weight, simple is way better than anything complex.
Yeah. So yeah, repeatable meals are a huge hack to,
Oh
to
yeah,
to to doing this. Yeah. So yeah, like I will have, for example, I have my pre-workout meal. which is basically like a rice porridge, and then with some blueberries and some protein powder and some cinnamon, and that's
Sounds
great.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that gives me a lot of energy and pump for the workout. And like most of my cooked meals are basically, yeah, a lot of the time it's like chicken and spinach and rice. That's a
Hmm.
very, very common one. And some other times I will have some ground beef and some other vegetables. And but I usually have rice as carbs, basically. And that works for me. And then I do have a lot of protein shakes too. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, very, very predictable stuff. Yeah. And yeah, at the moment I'm doing like 3 lifting sessions a week, basically, but they are, yeah, quite long sessions. But then I also do a fourth day where I just do dead hangs at home because I bought a pull-up
Oh,
bar.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm working towards pull-ups. I'm not quite there yet. I'm doing some assisted ones now, but yeah, yeah,
Well, dead hangs are excellent anyway.
yeah.
They're good for a lot of things besides just um, getting a pull up. But I watched someone going over dead hangs, and then they would do dead hangs, and then they would start to, I think, raise their scapula or something, and that
Mhm.
was just the second progression. And then you would use a like a band to get that. So you'll get them. That it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it is. So I'm hacking away at it a little bit at a time. So yeah, but I definitely have compared to other muscle groups, my lats are definitely behind. So yeah, so I'm working on that, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But you know what? All that is fun, too. Like
yeah.
I can't think of anything more exciting than being able to like kind of mold my body like clay and try to build up the things that I want to build up. Like it's fun. And but if you would have told me years ago that I'd think that was fun, I would say you're nuts. But it
Yeah,
is fun. Like it's a privilege to be able to do that kind of thing when you can't move and then you can, you start seeing things a lot differently. You're
yeah,
like it just you're like, okay, before I couldn't even walk a half mile without having my legs being chafed, the next day with a huge rash between my legs that would put me out of commission for days. So now the fact that I can walk miles in a day with no chafing, yeah, I'm gonna walk, and I couldn't even bend over to do certain things before.
yeah. Of
So
course, same here.
now I'm going to lift and use my body in ways that I couldn't before because I want to have a strong, capable body that can do the things I needed to do in life.
Yeah.
So the whole mindset switches when you realize that you can do things that you never could before. That
Yeah,
is
and
really hard to get into people's. It's really hard to distill that information or instill that information into someone's head that isn't there yet because they can only see what they can't do. They're not even thinking like, if I just did this for a year, but 1 year, I would be completely different. But getting that to stick in someone's head is uh is very hard
yeah,
because
definitely.
you're stuck. You just feel stuck, and you can't possibly see that that's possible sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically like an example of that because I was in a situation where so at my heaviest I was 463 pounds, so quite a heavy guy, and yeah, and when I was around my highest weight, I had already an injury in my left knee since earlier, and then I tore my ACL on the right side.
Ooh,
So basically, I was in a situation where I could hardly move. So even with crutches, I could only do like 100, 200 meters or something. And so I was in a really tough spot. And if you asked me then, I probably would have told you that I didn't know if I was gonna move around any longer distances ever again, right?
yeah, and
And it took me, I mean, it took me 18 months to get back to be able to do stairs.
wow, yeah,
Yeah. And now I have a record of 70,000 steps in a day.
70,000. Holy
Yeah.
crap!
Yeah.
You know what's
So,
amazing? Now that you jogged my memory, that when I was 400 pounds and anywhere between three, I'm gonna say anywhere between 300 and 400 because I'm short. I'm only 5'7".
Hmm.
So
I'm
when I was
5'9",
anywhere,
so yeah,
yeah, so we're similar.
yeah.
When I was that weight, within 300, 400 pounds, it was so easy to get injured. I remember because I do power washing as my business,
Hmm.
my work, and I remember one time simply bending over to power wash something, and I threw my back out
Oh,
for a whole week. I couldn't even. You ever had that when you have the spasms and you can't move, you you just basically can't do anything. I would throw my back out, my neck out.
wow.
I would constantly sprain my ankles, all the time. And I was just telling my wife recently, like it's so nice to be able to push myself like really hard and not be injured all the time. Because I would just be injured just walking
Yeah,
somewhere. I'd hit a little freaking pebble, then I would twist my ankle. And
yeah.
then when you're 400 pounds, have fun walking on a twisted ankle.
Yeah, no, I've also like yeah, twisted my ankle several times and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just you work a bit wrong and you are so heavy and it's yeah, yeah. And so you're so weak relatively to how heavy you are. So
yeah.
so there is that, right? So yeah. And I mean and my knee injury like on my right side, I just basically tore my ACL just walking down the stairs. That's all.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
So I was walking down the stairs and just snapped. So yeah.
That's a bad one. I've never had anything like
Yeah.
that before that
Yeah.
put me out of commission like that. Because I'm sure you said 18 months. That's pretty serious.
Yeah,
So,
and
so were you losing weight at that point, or were you still like not there yet?
I was basically just starting out. So I had just started making a few adjustments to my diet and so on. So I had lost just a few first kilos basically, and then this happened. So yeah, then I had to focus on both at the same time, right? So rehabilitating my knee and just working really hard to lose the weight and yeah, yeah.
Did it set you back, or were you like already committed to losing it at that point?
A bit of both. Would have been easier to do it without any injury? Most probably, yes. Would I have had as much of an urgency to do it without any injury? Maybe not.
Yeah, yeah, true. True.
Right,
Yeah, it works in
right,
both ways. You
right.
could
So
you could have went very negative on that, back then.
yeah,
So it's good that you chose to stick it out.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have a lot of people that tell me that message me. I'm sure you get messages all the time. But I get messages where they tell me they're feeling discouraged. They've lost 100 pounds and they're stuck. They can't lose. Like they feel like they can't lose anymore. They still have another 100 to go. And I'm always just like, just stick with it, man, and figure it out. Like there is a reason why you're stuck. And like I always say, there's a devil at every level.
mm.
You're just at the next level where you need to switch something up to bust through it.
And
But
also don't forget what you've done so far,
yeah, oh yeah. There's a
right?
book
So
that I
yeah,
read called The Gap and the Gain.
mm.
You ever heard of that one?
No, no.
So basically talking about measuring your progress from how far you've come, not how far you have to go.
Yeah,
And that's a good one because if you look at it like, oh, I've only lost 8 pounds, I've got 150 to lose. Yeah, but you lost 8 pounds. You know, it's better to look at it like that than to be like, oh, but I still have 142 left.
mm.
That's discouraging.
Yes,
But feel like, wow, look how far I've come so far. That's a these are little mind tricks, I guess, to playing yourself to make it all work because it's not easy. I mean, I wish I could. I've forgotten so many things from when I started that I sometimes might even oversimplify how easy it is.
mm.
But it's if you can just commit and be like, you know what, even if I mess up sometimes, I'm going to commit not to quit. Like and just keep on going, and just try and if I mess up, I'm gonna try to, get right back on it and create more space between my next mess up. Because we're always gonna mess up. I don't
Yeah.
think I'll ever go an entire even month without messing up.
Mm.
but my goal is always in my mind to, if I mess up, to make sure there's a lot of space between my previous mess up and the next one,
Yeah.
as opposed to, like I mentioned earlier, messing up and that could last me a whole year. My mess up could before could have lasted a whole year.
Yeah.
So when you think of it like creating space between them, again, you have another way to gamify your weight loss. Okay, well, this time I lasted 6 days before I messed up. Let me shoot for 7 days between this one,
Mhm.
before my next one. And you just keep trying to improve little by little, over time.
Yeah. And when it comes to the whole commitment, like you're saying, like because yeah, okay, you're committed to doing this, right? You're committed to the process. And I guess one part of that which I'm curious about is I'm sure there must have been some main motivation for you, like something that because this is a huge it's a huge achievement what you've done, right? And it's but it's I don't think you can do it without having something that you're chasing besides only the number on the scale, I think at least.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was for you. What was your main motivation starting out and during the whole thing to keep you focused on it, right?
So what? There were actually a few things that happened right when I got started. One of them was on Christmas Eve of 2021. I was putting together a Barbie house for my daughter,
Hmm.
and I thought I was having a heart attack. Like my
Wow.
hands got clammy. I felt tightness in my chest. I was struggling to breathe. So I was like, like that, trying to catch my breath. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Am I freaking having a heart attack right now? And I was freaking out. It was late. Everybody was asleep already. And it was just me putting this stinking Barbie house together. And I still see it in my basement. I walk by it every day.
Mm.
And I thought my family's gonna see me like dead on the floor in the morning. But I took a shower and I'm like, well, I'm not getting any worse. I wasn't getting any better either. But I'm like, all right, well, I'll just finish this Barbie house, at least so that's done.
Okay.
I basically passed out right next to the Barbie house.
Wow.
And I woke up the next morning, I was totally fine. It was weird. It was a panic attack. I had never had one before,
Okay.
but I talked to a lot of people and the doctor, and they were like, I think you had a panic attack because we're not seeing any signs that you had a heart attack. So I got one of those EKG or whatever
Hmm.
somehow they can check something to see if you had some kind of event, a cardiac event. And I didn't. So what did I do? Well, I decided, well, I'll just wait till the new year to get started,
Okay.
because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm fine. So I'm going to enjoy, Christmas. I'm gonna enjoy these next, 5 or 6 days, and then on the first, that's my time, you know. Well, obviously, the first comes, and I last about 2 or 3 days before I totally went off the rails again. But around that time, I also had a doctor tell me you've got about 10 years left if you keep on the path you're going. And the last few are not going to be good. They're going to be hard years. And I don't know if he was right or not. I mean, I've seen a lot of very unhealthy people live a lot a lot longer
Yeah.
than 50 years old or 40 something years old, right? But still, it was enough to make me think, man, I'm really heading down a bad path at this point. So that stuck in my head. And then for whatever reason, if you've ever saw any of my content, you may have seen this, me say this before, but on my son's birthday, which was February 17th of
Mhm.
22, I was in line at the Five Guys. Do you guys have Five Guys over there?
No. No.
Okay, so it's a popular fast food
Yeah,
type.
I know what it is. It's a burger
Okay,
chain.
okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So we were there for his birthday lunch,
Hmm.
and for whatever reason, because I had no thoughts of this before in my mind, when we were about one person away from the checkout, I told my wife, I'm not getting any buns this time. I'm not getting a soda. I'm not getting a milkshake. And I'm not getting fries. I'm getting a burger, the two burgers with
In
lettuce
lettuce. Yeah.
and just the toppings or whatever. And that's and I just thought I'm gonna start low carb today. She's like, really today? I said, yep, today.
Mm.
So I really feel like that decisive, like quick, like action that I took right there, for whatever reason, was enough to set me on a blazing path to get this done. Like just I don't know what it was. There was no reason, like nothing in my head was telling me to start that day. And then I just decided to.
Mm.
Like it wasn't like I'm gonna wait till Monday. I'm gonna wait until, you know, this next time. It was like, nope, now. Let's start it right now. And I think that I tell people this all the time. The second that the thought comes in your head, that's when you should start.
Mm.
You shouldn't wait and stuff a bunch of food for the next week and then start. You should just say, I'm tired of this crap. I'm starting right now. And I really think that's a powerful move that people could make if they really wanted to change. So other than that, like once I started getting the taste of what it was like to lose weight and be healthier, it was that just kept me going. Like I don't know about you, if you ever started losing a lot of weight quickly, because I lost in my first 5 months 125 pounds,
Wow. Yeah.
and that was all low carb. I don't do low carb anymore.
No.
But and I mentioned the devil at every level. When I hit the 125 pound mark, things got really hard. Like it wasn't easy. It was no longer easy. And then my mother passed away,
Mm.
and that almost sent me, you know, in a really bad spot. But somehow I didn't go off the rails that bad. But what I did keep doing was gaining and losing the same 15 pounds over and over again for like a solid year.
Mm.
But the old me would have gained 125 pounds
Yeah.
back. So I knew something internally had changed. Like something in me did not want to go backwards to where I was. But even when I would backslide back down to, or not backslide back down, but back up
Yeah.
to like 275 or 280, the feeling of my clothes being tight and my shirts that were loose feeling tight again was enough to make me dial it back in and lose that 15 pounds. Even though for that year I kept
Mm.
yo-yo dieting. But at that point, I realized that why am I trying to do low carb still? Because I'm doing low carb, and then what's happening is every 2 or 3 days, I'm binging on carbs.
Mm.
So I'm basically wasting my time trying to be low carb. Why don't I just try to eat like the same healthy foods, but with other foods that I can actually like and enjoy, where I'm not restricting an entire like food group. I'll say an entire macronutrient, as
Yeah.
in carbs. And that was the change I needed to start losing weight again, because I was eating in a way that I could. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I was trying to find a way, a style of eating that I could do like forever, because I realized that what I was doing was not something I could sustain. If it was, I wouldn't be binging on carbs every 3 days. So it's just, again, recognizing a pattern and trying to work with, you know, with what I like and enjoy, but in a healthier way. And around that time, I would start to look up meals that I liked, like my cheat meals that I was cheating with, and I would have fun with it. Okay, well, how can I remake this in a healthier version? How can I do this in a healthier version? So you start doing all these food hacks, and you're like, oh, I can do this. Like this is I not only am I getting the dopamine hit from this food that tastes bad, I mean, tastes good,
Yeah.
but isn't bad for me, and I still feel good, because whenever I would binge, I would feel like crap,
Yeah.
and my mood would suffer, and I would just overall be like a worse partner and a worse parent, because then I'm stuck on this, like thinking about food again, and I'm in a bad mood. But I again recognize the patterns that when I was eating these whole food options or variations, whatever you want to call it, that my mood was better. I
Yeah.
had more energy. I was a better partner. I was a better parent. And all those things, when you start to put them together, you're like, okay, maybe this stuff is just, I just should not be eating this stuff,
Mm.
and I should clearly my body favors this kind of food. And clearly it's giving me major signs that this kind of food puts me in a bad mood, makes me unhealthy, makes me a less patient parent and not such a great partner because I'm in a in a in a crappy mood. So I kind of segued off there, but when you talk about when you talk about uh motivations, there's so many different things that can motivate you to do things in a different way than you used to. Even now when I mess up, immediately when I catch it, it's so quick now.
Mm.
I'll notice my mood. I'm like, oh, there we go. I remember that now. I remember why I can't eat like a typical person anymore, because it makes me a jerk and it makes me like only think about food and all these other things. And I just feel a lot better eating differently and doing things differently, So yeah, I'm gonna shut up now, so I'm just
No,
rambling.
no worries, no worries. No, but it's no what everything you said is great, and yeah, I can see you've been working really, really hard to get on the right track, right? So and it's great to see, and I also appreciate you've mentioned things like, okay, you can see that when you're eating right and when you're doing the right things, you're also a better partner and a better parent and all of that stuff, and yeah, and that's great, and I think. I've talked about this with other people that somehow people are, even though it shouldn't be this way, in a way it's hard for ourselves to be our best selves only for us. And
Mhm,
when we try to be our best selves for other people around us too, I think that it's usually a higher motivation in a way.
mhm.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, for myself, I don't have a partner or a family yet, and but it is honestly something which has been like one of my main motivations. That is something I still want to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, awesome.
So I want to be the best man that I can be,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
And that's the best way for me to see it, right? So I wouldn't want to be in like in a marriage and being a parent who is not doing his best, right? Who is not, yeah, protecting and providing in a way, and it's not, yeah, doing, but
Yeah.
even just being a good example, and and all of that stuff, because I've seen so many examples of the opposite, and parents who unfortunately give all of the bad habits to their children, because children do what they see and not what you tell them. So it's like
Yep.
so that's a big part for me. It's like I want to be the kind of man that I know if my children try to copy me, that they will have at least the tools that they need to be successful.
Yeah, and the last thing you want with
Right.
with children is for them to go through what you went through.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our oldest son also has a food addiction,
Okay.
and he's not my biological son,
Hmm.
but still,
Yeah.
he witnessed us getting DoorDash all the time and Grubhub or whatever the other takeout things are. He witnessed us eating a lot of ice cream and junk. And even though it's been 4 years since I've been doing this, like very consistently, he still at this point does not seem to care about
Okay.
what he's putting in. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm just trying to I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I just don't want you to end up where I was. Because it's a life of misery, man. Like and one more thing about like kids and food and everything is one thing I realized I would go out to eat somewhere. Like we would go out to eat at a restaurant.
Hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I would be so into what I'm getting ready to eat that I would almost be like I would have tunnel vision about the food.
Mm.
So when I go out to eat now, I try to stay on plan. Like I'll get like a rice pilaf or something with vegetables and lean meat, which still tastes good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it might not be the big fat bomb that you want to get, but when I do that, I am able to be so much more present in the conversation than I would be if I was only thinking about how good this food is going to taste. So that's like a whole extra thing, especially if you have any people watching your YouTube that are like family people. They could probably even realize they probably will have a light bulb go off and be like, oh yeah, I am actually very focused on my food, instead of everything else around me.
Yeah.
Where when you're not thinking that way, you can really be like, hey, how are you doing? How's everything going? And you can have a much deeper conversation with the people that you love and want to be that you love and want to be around instead of only loving your food, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
giving that all the attention.
yeah, no, that's a great point. I think also it's different for different people, right? But for people like us, I think it's just, yeah, when you have this super tasty food in front of you and all of that, then you really kind of shut everything else off. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, but when you do, there is a double thing. Like when you get a more boring meal, you will not be as focused on the food for one. But
Mhm.
also, I think it's just that in that moment you feel more in control, right? So you can be more
Oh yeah.
yourself in a way because you're not under the control of the food the same way as you would be otherwise, right?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, 'cause it does have a way of taking over,
Mm.
you know. And I agree with you. It does put the power back in your hands when you know that you really want to do this, but you defy, what everything your being is telling you to do, and you say, nope, I'm actually going to eat this instead.
Yeah,
That does somehow like work very well with the brain to get it to once again work with you and realize, oh yeah, Leo's different now, Phil's different now. We're gonna we're gonna favor this instead of this. And I just think that's really cool about the brain.
just to get back as to what you were saying, so yeah, we were talking about the fact of feeling in power and feeling in control, basically, right? In these situations, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
how when you make the right choices enough times, the brain will work with you a lot more than it works against you. Even though there are still times that our brains work against us. I'm sure that we both have them,
Yeah,
but it's so it's so much different now, years later, than it was when I first started. I can honestly say that my brain works with me a lot more than it works against me at this point.
that's great.
So it's not always a fight, like an internal fight all the time anymore. Thank goodness.
Yeah, 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 that's great. It's great. Okay, so I think we have discussed a lot of great stuff already. So I guess just towards closing off, I basically had two last things.
Mhm.
And one thing is just if you have anything that you would like to add about your own journey that I haven't asked you yet. And the other thing is then if you have any other questions for me, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I will add about my own journey is that I realized as I was doing this that our bodies are smart, and the leaner that we get, the smarter it gets, and the more efficient it is. So if you're in a massive plateau or a stall, your body is giving you signals that you need to take a break, most likely. That you can't be in a deficit all the time and expect your body not to be like fighting you on it. So it'll start to adjust different hormones and stuff and make you feel tired, make you and just know that this is a real journey, and journeys have ups and downs. And oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, it was a bit
Yeah,
hacky
it
there.
said
Yeah.
it was unstable or something, like just like me. I'm just kidding. And but yeah, so what I do nowadays is I started reading the research on weight loss and everything. And so what I do now is almost always, if I'm in a weight loss phase, I will diet for 2 to 4 weeks, and then I'll take 2 weeks at maintenance.
Hmm.
So that keeps my hormones at a good spot. I don't hit that crazy metabolic adaptation. And the research actually shows that if you let's just say you did this for 12 weeks, that at the end of the 12 weeks, the people that did the diet breaks along with the calorie deficits, the weight loss was the same, at the end of the 12 weeks. So if your body is seemingly fighting you, you probably need a break, and it's okay to take one, but just go to maintenance calories. Don't go in some crazy surplus.
Yeah, no,
Just
a break doesn't
yeah.
mean what people thinks it means. So it's
And
not
you know what?
it's not like a break that now you do whatever you
Yeah,
want. It's a
yeah. It's not
break
a
in
free for all. Yeah,
yeah. So it's a break in the way that you just adjust your calories, probably have very similar meals, just a little bit bigger for a little while,
yep.
and then yeah.
And the good thing about breaks, here's one thing I learned as well. The hardest part for people that have lost a lot of weight is when it's done and you've got to just eat normal.
Mhm.
That seems that seems to be a very hard part for people. And I just talked to a guy that regained almost 200 pounds recently.
Wow.
And he said that he's really struggled to eat normally, like and just maintenance. So I like the little cutting stages followed by a break because it teaches you how to eat normal.
Yeah.
Just enough to give your body what it needs, as opposed to always being in a deficit or in a surplus. You get the chance to practice living how you're going to live when you're in your at your goal weight.
Yeah.
So you're not having this psychological breakdown, when you get there where you're like, oh, what do I do? I'm not losing weight, so now what?
Hmm?
You kind of get that chance to experience what real life, will look like with your food and everything with that. So I would just say that to me, that's important to mention. 'Cause it seems to be such an issue with a lot of people, with what to do with that stage when you finally get there. Because if I'm not sure how long you've been doing this, like losing weight and how long you've been healthy, but for 4 years, almost 4 years, I was constantly trying to lose weight.
Mm.
So when I got down to where I was like pretty darn comfortable, I also had that same problem. Like, man, now what?
Yeah.
What the heck do I do now?
Yeah. No, maintenance is hard, and yeah. So for me now, I've had to practice a bit with this, and right now I'm in a place where I've forced myself to stay at maintenance, even though I'm slightly above the weight where I want to be.
Hmm.
Right? So yeah. So I started at 463 pounds. I got down to 193.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'd lost 270, and
That's incredible.
I did that in I did most of that in a bit more than 2 years. Yeah.
Wow, man. You were
Yeah.
hustling.
Yeah, so I was really going for it. And yeah, and for most of the time I was also lifting weights and eating decent amount of protein. So I was trying to do it right, as much
Yep.
as possible. But yeah, but then towards the end, I actually, I guess I had been going really hard with everything, and also had some other stuff going on in my private life. So I kind of crashed. So I
Hmm.
actually had a
It's
bit of
normal.
a yeah. So I had a bit of a health scare, and I fainted a few times, and
Oh, wow.
ended up at the emergency room.
Oh,
Yeah.
literal crash. Okay. All right.
Yes, literal crash. Yeah.
Wow.
So after that, to recover, I was having crazy cravings, and I just had to give in to let my body heal, basically. So I had a in a in about 2 weeks, I gained about 30 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. It's
Yeah,
crazy how fast you can do it, isn't it?
yeah,
Man.
yeah. So and then I decided to keep those
Okay.
for 6 months. So
Oh,
that's
just
the
to
fa
maintain.
yes. So
Yep.
that's the phase that I'm in right now. So I'm still gonna do this until the 1st of May. That's my idea. So I've been trying to stay around this same weight. So I weigh around 225 right now, something
Mm.
like that. and I'm trying to stay around that weight until 1st of May, and then after that I'm gonna start a cut again, basically. And
Yeah, and it,
somewhere around 200 to 210 is probably pretty good weight for me. Yeah,
yeah, and I had read that what you're doing right now. I had read that your body has to be prepared to cut and lose weight. That's why I said you can't always be in a calorie deficit because you know you're literally giving your body less than it needs to to survive, or less than it wants.
yeah,
So it's going to eventually start giving you signals like, "Hey, time to eat," or we're going to start changing things up on you.
yeah.
But yeah, I read I think it's called reverse dieting.
Hmm.
That you you get your calories back up and your hormones all like level out again, and then your body's ready to cut again. But you can't just be in a cut forever,
Yeah,
and feel good. You just ultimately you won't feel good if you're always in a cut.
yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So I had to give my body some time to recover, but I've been managing it pretty well. Yeah. Some small
Yeah,
fluctuations, but I've been staying around this weight now. So yeah, yeah. But it has been a
that's
challenge
good.
mentally. Mentally, it has been a big challenge. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's good because you like now you can maintain it.
Yeah.
So I think that these are good things, and everybody wants to just move at a lightning fast speed, and I understand that completely. But sometimes you do need to you got to chill for a bit, let your body level out and adjust, and then tackle it again. Like it does not have to be done all in a month or in 6 months. It's okay to take your time, and it's actually good to take your time because the more time that you take, the more that your brain gets to catch up with what you're doing. And it'll start working with you, as opposed to if you've primed your brain to just be like go 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 go. That's all it knows. So when things slow down, it's very easy to undo all that because now you're bored because before you're losing 20 pounds or 30 pounds in a month or 40 pounds in a month. Oh, now it's actually less than 10 pounds a month and you're bored to death,
Mm.
you know? So all that to say, you got to start to love the process and the journey, as I'm sure that you found out for yourself.
Yeah,
You
and
got to fall in love with it.
I'm in the mindset that this is a lifelong struggle, right? So it's not like it's yeah, I'm doing this right now and then it's done. So it's more like, yeah, just like you said, like even when I'm going up or down in weight or maintaining, I have very similar meals. I have very similar routines with training and with steps and everything. And it's so I just turn some dials a bit up and down, but it's yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, and I've said a similar thing. I always say levers, because
yeah,
if you coach people, you realize that the first thing that they want to do is cut their calories way too low.
yep,
So what they've done is they pull the lever all the way down. So then when their body adapts and wises up to what they're doing,
hmm,
there's no more lever to pull. The
yeah,
only other lever is physical activity. And unfortunately, at that point, you're exhausted because you have already pulled this lever down too low. So you don't have the energy to do all the physical activity to make up the the extra calories that keep burning. So you're almost forced at that point to eat more to get your stuff back up to where it should be. So yeah, it's all about leverage, and strategy, you
yeah.
know. Especially as you start getting like you're in the 200 pounds now, the lower 200s. When you were 300 pounds or 400 pounds, it was actually probably pretty easy for you,
Hmm, yeah,
in a way. It was kind of easy.
yeah,
But then when you start losing weight, your body gets more efficient and it sees what you're doing and it knows that you have less to lose. So it's really going to try to hold on to that stuff, as opposed to when you're 270 pounds overweight or 200 pounds overweight, it's got plenty of reserves to tap into,
yeah.
but
It's
not
a
so
quite
much when you lose some.
it's quite amazing that the body will let you do some extreme stuff when it kind of knows that
Yep.
you need it. And when,
Yep.
then when it knows that you don't need it and you try to do the extreme stuff anyways, it's gonna go,
I just learned that the hard way, actually,
yeah,
myself. So
yeah.
I'm trying to get under 200 pounds
Hmm.
because I've got a life insurance thing coming up.
Okay.
So I cut my calories down to like 1,600 calories.
Oh wow.
My
Yeah.
body started fighting me right away.
Yeah.
So, and it was frustrating. It's like, dang it, I really want to get a better rate on my insurance. But the truth is, I just don't have that much to lose. So when I'm trying to lose more, my body starts fighting to hold on to it even more. So I started basically I said, oh, okay, clearly I'm not going to get down here. So I ate, I started eating some more calories. Like I got like 2,400 calories one day, and then
Mhm.
2,400 another day, and then I lost 3 pounds. I'm like, what the heck?
Okay.
It's like my body was clearly telling me, like it was clearly adapting very quickly
Mm.
to the lower calories, which I thought was interesting. But I always tell people that I work with, hey, you have 200 pounds to lose. You can be aggressive right now, but just know that does not last forever. You can only be aggressive when your body has a lot to tap into.
Yeah.
Once you get down to, 250, 260, it's going to be a fight. You know, and
Yeah.
you have to use a lot more strategy. You can't be as aggressive. You've got to switch from aggressive to strategy at some point. But
Yeah.
the aggressive part is fun though,
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, especially in the beginning when you have that much to lose and you just when you can see results, it's motivating, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I was losing like what, 20, 20 to 30 pounds in a month,
Oh wow. Yeah.
for months at a time. Yeah, just like you were. Probably it sounds like you were even losing faster than I was, but
I think I mean
it was so
I was probably I think my some of my highest months probably had around 20 pounds a month,
yeah,
but then I was just very consistent, right? So I was somewhere probably between 10 15 pounds a month, but like every month basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's and that's
Yeah.
exhilarating,
Yeah.
But I noticed that the one part that people struggle with is when that slows down or stops. Man, do people have a hard time with that? It's really it's like this was fun. Now it's work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, then I guess to finish off, is there anything else you would like to ask me?
No, I do. I think your journey's amazing though, man. I saw your pictures and I'm like, dang, that dude completely transformed. So
Thank you.
the name of your channel is very fitting, that
Yeah,
transformations and everything. So I always love to see someone that completely changed your life around. So good for you, man. It's awesome.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress.
Always.
Yeah,
It's always gonna be that, and it's okay.
yeah, yeah.
It beats the alternative, right?
Definitely does. Definitely does. Yeah. All right, Phil. So thank you so much for taking this time and for everything that you shared today. And yeah, so thank you to everyone for watching and listening too. And yeah, I guess I'll talk to you soon again, hopefully.
Yep, sounds good, man. I'll see you online.
Yeah, you too. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye.
Yep. Have a good day. See ya.
You too.